A pleasant good evening and welcome to SAT TV's Channel 9 Evening News. I am your presenter, Larry LaRoque. Thank you for joining us. Among the major developments, law enforcement makes major drug bust in Tukari. Navy seeks closer cooperation with Guadeloupe. Mexican police killed in airport shooting. Sports division hosting health walk this weekend. Details of these and other stories after the break.
Support local, support SAT Telecommunications Ltd, the people's choice. Join hands with us. Come and sign up for your digital TV connection today. We got the sharpest, cleanest, brightest digital TV connection. No antiquated analog service, only pure digital and many new packages coming soon. With latest in sports, movies, children programming and much more. So if you have your flat screen TV and you want to see quality TV, join now. Sign up today for your digital television. Support local, support SAT Telecommunications Ltd, the people's choice.
Thank you for staying with us. Now for the details of the news. A number of persons turned out in large for a roadshow which was organized by the Committee for the Development of Benz, Ansdime and Ansoldat, SIMBA, on Sunday, June 24th. President of SIMBA's Dominica chapter, Ms. Kalisha Aaron, says that the purpose for the roadshow was to create awareness and interest for the reunion, which begins on Friday, June 29th.
After the whole reunion, we're expecting everybody to be more unified together, and we're also hoping that the persons in the diaspora, like other countries, not in Dominica, would lend their hand to help those in Dominica and Benz to do something better.
Ms. Aaron also said that the purpose of the roadshow was to sensitize people about the upcoming reunion and to let them know the different activities which will be taking place during the week of reunion. At the roadshow, the committee members took the opportunity to highlight the events which was being scheduled for the reunion. Ms. Aaron says that it takes a lot of time and planning to make sure that this reunion goes through successfully.
We have to look at bands, we have to look at fundraising, because without money, you can't get anything done. You have to look at advertisement. You need to publicize the things so everybody could know that there's a reunion going on.
The show began in Ansoldat, then went through the village of Viejas, then down to Penville and also Portsmouth, up towards Bonn, passed through Dodan, then went to Marigot and ended in Ansoldat. Villagers came out from their homes when they heard the music to see what was going on and were greeted to buses, trucks and private vehicles, all loaded with energetic persons, part of the roadshow. Ms. Aaron noted that the roadshow did achieve its purpose, as people are now interested in the reunion and looking forward to it. How is the planning and preparation been going so far?
It's going good so far. It's just next weekend, and I can tell you we are ready for this reunion.
Give us a rundown of the dates and activities that you have planned.
Okay, Friday night we have Burning Flames. Saturday we having a fish night, meet and greet, where persons who haven't seen each other in a long time will meet at the Reunion Square, which is in Ansdime, there close to the port area. And then we also having distribution of care packages to the persons in the community who really need some help in terms of food and things like that. We also having the Sunday, which is our official opening ceremony.
There will also be many more activities for the reunion, and though it is the first reunion planned by the committee, she thinks that they will do a great job. The theme for the reunion is Reuniting Our Efforts, Embracing Each Other, and will open with a fair featuring the Burning Flames from Antigua on Friday, June 29th, and will climax on 9th July. Dominica, the last paradise in a healthy living, was a topic discussed at a panel discussion of St. Peter's Feast held on Monday, June 25th. President of the Rotary Club of Dominica, Ms. Marvelyn Birmingham, gives a definition and image of a land of paradise.
Green space at one with nature. I see clear, clean flowing water, a pristine environment devoid of garbage, litter, plastics, and all other pollutants. I can feel the fresh, cool air on my face, a beautiful rainbow in the sky.
Mrs. Joanne Henry says that our country is blessed with mountains and beautiful features as well as raw materials.
This country drinks from the rain of heaven and provides us with water rich with minerals. It is rich with fertile soil that produces fauna and flora, plants and animals that our forefathers used to remain healthy. Our source of food, cosmetics, medicine, raw materials for shelter and for clothing. It is protected by towering mountains. Very rarely the storms will get to us.
Mrs. Henry believes that health should be on our agenda, and too often we dismiss how vital health and nutrition is.
Tonight we have very few people in this place. Is health on your agenda? Guiding light maybe as the world turns, and such as these. But where is health to allow us to embrace the resources that God has given us in this paradise? I want to encourage you as you continue to listen to us to ponder on this thing, because there is an urgent need for us as a nation to recognize how valuable this country is and to make the best of it.
Herbalist Mr. Bobby Olivache says one of our natural attributes in Dominica that attracts many foreigners are our water sources. Mr. Olivache added that we as Dominican citizens should be on guard and pay attention to their motives when people offer assistance. Here is Mr. Olivache with more details.
And there is so much need for water all around the world. Very, very low supply of water. So when people come and sometimes they say they're giving us assistance, we have to consider what their motives are. And even if they come and they ask for assistance as people, we have to help one another, yes. But first and foremost, we have to help one another for one another. Because we are first and foremost die-hard Dominica.
After 39 hours of instruction in an art program, first-year students of the Dominica State College put on a display of their works on July 25th. 19 students pursuing an associate degree in primary education are grateful for the instruction received from the Japanese art team who coordinated the classes. President of the Dominica State College, Dr. Donald Peters, says that this art is essential in the learning process and it is important that we in Dominica continue to indulge in it. He is grateful to the Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit for bringing skilled persons in art to Dominica since 2002.
Because in the future, art will remain with us. It is a way of expressing ourselves. And it doesn't matter how good your university or college is if they haven't got programs in art appreciation, music appreciation, performing arts. These are what defines a college.
He wants to ensure that the Dominica State College will continue to offer assistance to students and opportunities that are all available to them to the School of Education to have an art program where teachers can then bring arts into many schools as possible, so there is a cycle of artists in Dominica. Akiko Pakitsuri, Japanese team leader, tried to show the students what is art education. She says the students gave her great joy by showing her through art that they understood what she was trying to convey.
I want to emphasize here that the art educator's goal is not to have perfect skill as a professional artist, but to understand that art education is to enable the students to appreciate themselves or expressed differently, to give the students the gift of knowing themselves.
She expects that the class would result in giving children around the island much joy and hope with their expression in art. One of the students, Miss Nasha George, says, although there was a language barrier, the instructors did everything in their power to educate them and encourage them throughout the instructions.
One of the main things they left with us is that we have to love art and we have to love the students, because if we do not love, if we haven't got a love for art and we do not show the students love, it would not really bring out the best in them.
The exhibition consisted of craft posters, pop-up cards, sketches, watercolor paintings and lettering, and demonstrations of craft posters. The students received certifications at the exhibition. This year, as part of Environmental Health Month, a national symposium on occupational health and safety was held on Tuesday, June 26. At a time when unemployment is on the rise, persons grab at any sort of occupation to survive. As a result of this, those who have the power to employ do so to persons under any condition, and they are without a choice. Mr. Matthew Libla, Labour Commissioner, says this makes persons work under conditions that are unfavorable and find destructive to their health.
Dominica, we're sometimes lucky to be the last to be affected by all these great, unfortunate things that are happening in the world, because we are especially blessed. But believe me, for those who are involved in industry and business, know that things are tight. And the unions are indeed concerned about the conditions of employment of their workers, and work constantly together with the Labour Department and the employers' representative to ensure that persons continue, despite of the circumstances globally, regionally and nationally, to be engaged in gainful employment in an environment that is safe.
He says work is a matter of human dignity and work is protected as a right in our legislature. Dominica has joined part of the world community in promoting the decent work agenda.
It means that man and woman without discrimination would find opportunities of employment and would be paid adequately for their work and would be allowed to function in an environment which is healthy and safe. And I must commend Mr. Scotland for having highlighted some of the statistics, because it was part of my plan this morning to draw to your attention how significant the concern is worldwide. And it is not only now because things are tight. People have disregarded for a long time matters of occupational safety and health. And a lot of persons have lost their life and lost their limbs and members of the body as a result of negligence, or irresponsible behavior, or irresponsible attitude towards work.
While the statistics may indicate that we do not have occupational accidents, it is false representation of the reality, because many persons are unaware of the responsibility to report an accident in the workplace.
I've met many persons who have lost a finger or a hand or arm just to find out that they lost it 2 years ago at a workplace in Dominica and we knew nothing about it. And the sad story is that they are hoping that the insurance would settle or they will find some compensation for that, and some of them never. So indeed and in fact, we have a great need to have a comprehensive national policy on occupational safety and health in Dominica. And that is why I said in my opening remarks that this activity today is very important.
Minister of Health Honorable Julius Timothy says government, businesses and household and incorporating sustainability in their everyday actions, and in the ministry they must employ strategies to promote protection and conservation of a pristine environment.
Safe environmental conditions for better living indicates that there are many challenges which must be tackled vigorously if we are to achieve the desired objectives of our ministry strategic plan, which aims to reduce accidents and injuries among the population, with specific indicators, namely, to reduce the number of cases reported to healthcare facilities by half by 2020.
Government has been working feverishly to reduce environmental risk and has been able to put mechanisms in place which would promote risk reductions. He would also like to give thanks to the government's commitment that everything necessary will be done to ensure the health of workers and community members are protected. The symposium continued throughout the day. The Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force have made yet another significant drug bust in a continued fight in the war against drugs. Police Public Relations Officer Inspector John Carbon has more on this developing story.
On Monday, June 25, 2012, about 7 a.m., a joint operation between personnel of the Customs, Drug Squad, Coast Guard and the Portsmouth Police Station resulted in the seizure of over 1,500 pounds of cannabis, which was discovered at the Tukari Bay. Simultaneously, one open keelboat was intercepted by the Coast Guard 5 nautical miles west of Canefield.
2 male individuals have been arrested after the boat was intercepted and are currently assisting police in their investigations. The fiberglass boat, which is named Santa Maria, is not owned locally and is powered by twin Yamaha 200 horsepower engines, and the individuals captured appear to be non-nationals. Information suggests that the men dropped off the cannabis on the beach and were on their way back to their country, which is unknown at this point. Inspector Carbon, though not disclosing the events leading up to the operation, indicated that it is always good when the public can work with the police.
Don't forget, we always work on information. That's why we always ask the public to assist us. We have a 1-800 hint number. Any information will be filtered through the police department.
The inspector says that this type of illegal activity will not be tolerated.
We want to let them know that we will not put our guards down. We will continue to press against this illicit drug, and that they need to find something better to do instead of trying to destroy people, because all drug does is to destroy people. You think of making money, but looking at the lives that are lost because of the dealing with the drugs.
Inspector Carbon says they are indeed winning the war against drugs, as they have been making large seizures of illegal drugs and continue to do so. Speaking with a Coast Guard officer, he said that when they received the information from the police that the boat was fleeing in a southerly direction, they immediately sprung into action. Upon spotting the boat, they made several calls for the captain to stop but were ignored, and as a result, the Coast Guard fired shots at the boat's engine to disable it, and then the boat came to a stop. The officer also disclosed that upon inspection of the boat, a global positioning device, GPS, revealed that it came from Vieux-Fort St. Lucia, where the cannabis was picked up and headed straight to Dominica. The boat had enough fuel for the trip, and there was a total of 26 drums of fuel aboard. The street value of the drugs have not been determined as yet. London Games will be a very British affair on a very global stage. 1 month to go and London is calling. As the first city to host the Olympic Games 3 times, the UK is looking forward to welcoming the world to London in the days and weeks ahead. Games from Sydney to Barcelona says something unique and distinctive about the country that hosts them, and London will be no different. From the Olympic torch relay, where British people from all walks of life touch a little bit of Olympic history, to the opening ceremonies to the Paralympics, which first began in the British town called Stoke Mandeville in 1948. This will be a very British affair on a very global stage. The Olympic torch, currently on its 8,000-mile journey across the UK, is showing off our attractions like never before, such as the amazing coastline in the southwest and the east of England, beautiful landscapes in Wales and Scotland, and the depth of history and heritage stretching from Stonehenge in the south to Hadrian's Wall in the north. We now go to Ms. Desiree Joseph for tonight's court news.
One man will learn to cool down his temper after facing Rosal Magistrate Kenya Judge on Tuesday, June 26. Alder Philip of Castle Comfort was remanded at the Stockton prison after breaching 2 protection orders against him put in place on April 19, 2011, when he spat in the face of his wife, Mrs. Larissa Pinat Philip, which occurred in Newton on June 23rd. Mr. Philip was also charged for making threats when he told Mrs. Pinat Philip, and I quote, "You think you're letting me go to prison again? A shootout happening before I go to prison again," end quote. In a bail application on behalf of the defendant, his lawyer Conwani Williams advised the judge as his client overreacted in the case, and this is simply what he describes as matters of the heart. However, Magistrate Judge said that she is concerned as crimes of passion are the most violent and she does not want to take any risk. Post-prosecutor Inspector Claude Wicks objected to bail, stating that the defendant has made consistent threats to Mrs. Pinat Philip even in the presence of police officers. Mr. Wicks said that at this point bail should not be considered. During the case, Mr. Philip made several attempts to signal his wife in trying to get her to drop the case against him. However, his efforts were proved futile, but Mr. Pinat Philip looked confused as to the course of action that should be taken. In denying bail to Mr. Philip, she told him that he needs some time to cool off.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph, for the court news. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.